Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you to the Naperville Park District Board of Commissioners regular meeting, November 10th, 2011. It is 7 p.m. Call the meeting to order, and our first order of business is Pledge of Allegiance. All please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Jackie, would you call the roll, please?
President Riley?
Here.
Vice President Young?
Here.
Commissioner Egan? Here. Commissioner Heidi?
Here.
Commissioner Janner?
Here.
Commissioner Ori, absent. Commissioner Todd?
Here.
Thank you. The first order of business tonight is always the fun part. We're pleased tonight to be able to recognize young athletes in our Shotokan karate program who recently competed nationally and internationally. I'd like to ask the following karate students to join me at the podium. Eddie Algretti, Ethan Pearson, Joel Pelkinen, Alexandra Pelzer, Johnny Pelzer, Thomas Papalardo, and Mr. John DePasquale, founder of the Illinois Shotokan Karate Club. All these students joined top karate athletes from around the United States in Arlington, Texas, this past July to compete in the 2011 National Karate Championship. In addition, two competitors, Eddie Algretti and Ethan Pearson, made the U.S. junior team and competed in the Junior Pan American Championships in Fortaleza, Brazil in September. So we're proud to recognize these students for the following accomplishments. Eddie Algretti, age 13, won first place in Kumite, second in Team Kata, and third in Team Kumite in the Nationals. In the Junior Pan American Championship in Brazil, he won third place in Kumite. Ethan Pearson, age 15, won second and third place in Kata, third place in Kumite, first place in Team Kata, and third place in Team Kumite in the Nationals. He won third place in Team Kata in the Junior Pan American Championship in Brazil. Joel Pelkinen, age 14, won first place in Kata and first place in Kumite in the Nationals. Alexandra Pelzer, age 9, won second place in Kata, third in Kumite, and second in Team Kumite in the Nationals. Johnny Pelzer, age 8, won third place in Kata, first place in Kumite, and first place in Team Kumite in the Nationals. Maureen Gray, age 17, won third place in Team Kumite in the Nationals. Michaela McKibben, age 15, won second place in Kata and third in Team Kumite in the Nationals. And Thomas Papalardo, age 12, also competed in the Nationals as part of the Shotokan team. Now, unfortunately, this evening, Maureen and Michaela were not able to be with us. But I'd like to please join me in congratulating all these athletes. And come on up, we have certificates. So first is Eddie Algretti. Ethan Pearson. Joel Pelkinen. Alexandra Pelzer. Lori or Gianni Pelzer. And Thomas Papalardo. Thomas Papalardo and Michaela McKibben and Maureen Gray could not be with us. So, John, if you would please take those. And now if we can kind of circle everybody together here, and so we'll get some pictures.
Thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to
thank the Park District Board, of course, and the staff, because without your fine work, Naperville Park District wouldn't be one of the top park districts in the state of Illinois, if not the best. And because of your hard work, these kids have some nice facilities to practice their sport and their art of karate. And one of the things I think that we're most proud of in the Park District here is that we're able to take kids that are on a recreational level and kids that are on a very elite competitive level, and they practice together. We don't segregate them. Everybody they're in the same classes. So whether they're trying to lose weight or they're doing it for confidence or for a sport, they're all in the same classes together. And again, all I can say is thanks to the Park District for your good work, and also for the students for their dedication, and for the moms and dads for driving them to class. So thank you very much.
The next item on our agenda is employee recognition. I'd like to turn it over to our Executive Director.
Thank you, President Riley. At this time, I'd like to introduce one of our new employees, Brett Lindahl. Brett, go ahead and wave, stand up there. Brett is our new sponsorship and events manager. Just a little bit about Brett. He's a graduate of Northern Illinois University with a bachelor's degree in sports management. He has spent most of the last decade working in corporate partnerships capacity in the minor league professional sports in Rockford, Illinois, Asheville, North Carolina, and the Rio Grande Valley of Texas. Most recently, he worked in business to business sales and business development in the office supply industry. Brett moved to Naperville in April of this year with his wife and son. He enjoys athletics and home improvement activities. Additionally, Brett played soccer on the collegiate level and served on the coaching staff for the men's and women's soccer teams at Parkland College in Champaign. So on behalf of the staff and obviously the board, Brett, welcome. He's already hit the ground running, as you know, doing a lot of great things for the district, and we're glad to have him. So thanks for coming.
Thank you. Next, do we have anyone from the public signed up to speak, Jackie? No. Okay. We'll move on to updates and reports, and we'll start off with the Riverwalk Commission update. Commissioner Heidi.
Thank you, President Riley. Several items to report tonight. First, directly relative to the Park District. The fountains have been shut down. Santa House is under construction. The new piers at the paddleboat quarry have been installed, and the first Riverwalk wayfinding sign has been delivered and will be installed shortly. Other items of note. The permits for North Central College Gateway are about to be approved, and the sewer work has been completed. And finally, a Riverwalk Bridge lighting demonstration will be conducted on the evening of December 7th. The thought is to provide nighttime lighting for these magnificent and frequently photographed structures as funds availability allows. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have the Riverwalk Foundation update report. The next meeting of the Riverwalk Foundation is scheduled for January of 2012. Next, the Carillon Foundation, Millennium Carillon Foundation. This evening we have an agenda item regarding approval of the agreement among the City of Naperville, the Millennium Carillon Foundation, and the Naperville Park District regarding ownership, maintenance, financial responsibility, and naming rights related to the Carillon and the Moser Tower, as well as the Visitor Center, which is owned by the Park District. The board had good discussion on this at our October 27th special board meeting, so we have placed it on our consent agenda this evening. The next meeting of the foundation is scheduled for 7:30 a.m., January 5th, 2012. Next, we have the Parks Foundation report. There is nothing new to report on the Parks Foundation. Their next meeting has not yet been scheduled. Next, we have a Finance Committee meeting, Finance Committee update from Commissioner Todd.
The Finance Committee met on October 19th, and the district's money manager, Tom Sawyer from the Sawyer-Feduto, presented the first quarterly results of the district's investment portfolio. And the report included market commentary, performance review, a list of the holdings, our fixed income portfolio characteristics, and a transaction list. committee accepted the report and was pleased with the positive returns that we've earned on our fixed income portfolio. Next on our agenda was an overview of the 2012 budget. It was presented to the committee. The district continues to be in a very strong financial position. Balanced budgets have been proposed for our general fund, recreation fund, and golf funds. The district's budget workshop is scheduled to be held December 17th at 5 o'clock at the Park District Ad Building. We also looked at non-tax revenue plan, alternative revenue. The committee reviewed a 10-year history of the district's non-tax revenue sources, and a framework for the motto is in the works and will include a policy statement regarding the district's commitment to maximize non-tax revenue sources. In addition, policy and plans that impact or drive non-tax revenue sources will be identified and defined. And our next Finance Committee meeting is scheduled to be November 16th at 10:30 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is our Legislative Committee update. Commissioner Heidi.
Thank you, President Riley. Nothing to report tonight. Our next meeting is scheduled for November 18th.
Thank you. Next is the Parks and Recreation Committee update. Vice President Young.
The Parks and Recreation Committee met on October 26th. Many of the issues that we discussed at the October meeting were also presented to the full board at the October workshop. Athletic field cost recovery remains a high priority. The committee recommended that staff pursue a mechanism to recover costs by billing hourly based on the type of field and whether the field received a service level of Mode 2 or Mode 3. But there is much more substance to add to this framework before it is ready for full board review. There will be much more to follow. We discussed the Brook Prairie naming request that was made of us. The committee reflected on recent amenity naming requests and finds that this park naming request to be very similar to recent requests to name the Book Pavilion at Nike Sports Complex and Staffelt Lake at DuPage River Park. The committee asked staff to inquire whether naming an amenity such as the Prairie Path located at Brook Prairie would be acceptable. Staff is following up with the requesters on that, and of course all naming requests, whether for parks or for amenities, will require full board approval. We continue to discuss renovations at the Riverwalk Eatery. I reported during our last meeting that the committee agreed that the furniture needed replacing at the Riverwalk Eatery. However, since the committee is also discussing plans for expanding the menu options and the hours of the Riverwalk Eatery, the committee recommended that the district hold off on making a purchase of furniture until we fully develop the renovation plans. As a result of a resident's inquiry regarding the lack of a flagpole and an American flag near the new amenities located at Nike Sports Complex, staff took inventory of all of our flags and flagpoles. The Park District has 36 flagpoles. The placement of the flagpoles is usually near the entrance of the park, by the main building, or in the outfield of one of the baseball diamonds. Nike Sports Complex currently has a flagpole and an American flag in the outfield of one of the baseball diamonds. However, the committee agreed that the new amenities at Nike Sports Complex just off of Mill Street were of a sufficient stature that placing an additional flagpole and an American flag would be appropriate. Staff will consider whether that flagpole should be placed near the entrance, the pavilion, or by the scoreboard by the artificial turf field, and provide a recommendation to the committee.
Thank you. Next is the Strategic Planning Committee update. Commissioner Janner.
Thank you, President Riley. The scope of the Strategic Planning Committee was a topic for the full board and staff at our October 27th workshop. At that time, we agreed that the Strategic Planning Committee would meet quarterly and that our next meeting would be the upcoming December. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is the Golf Committee update. Commissioner Egan.
Evening. Registration for the turkey shoot at Naperville kicks off this Saturday, November 12th at 8 a.m. Call 630-378-4215 or stop by the Naperville Golf Shop. Limited space is available and reservations will be taken on a first-come, first-served basis. The turkey shoot will be held on Saturday, November 19th, and you can visit napervillgolfcourse.org for details. Beginning November 11th, weekday rates will be available 7 days a week. Twilight rates are available mornings before noon. Super twilight rates are available at 12 p.m. through 3 p.m. through December 31st. In addition, both golf courses will remain open, weather permitting, throughout the off-season. As always, please visit springbrookgolfcourse.org or napervillgolfcourse.org to get the latest golf news and sign up for our e-news. Golf staff has done a tremendous job of managing our expenses down to cope with the significant decline in play the 2011 season has seen due to our extreme weather. However, staff was unable to fully offset the downside in September revenue, and we expect to incur a deficit of approximately $95,000 for fiscal year 2011. There are sufficient reserves for golf to absorb the loss, and we would remain well above our minimum reserve balances. I would like to remind all residents that golf is an enterprise fund and does not receive any tax support from Naperville residents. Golf stands on its own merits and is operated to build reserves in the good times to offset times like those that everyone is experiencing today. As a result, we are able to maintain the high standards our golfers have come to enjoy and expect. Our next golf committee meeting is this Monday at 7:30 a.m. at Springbrook. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is the monthly board president update. This past month has been an eventful one. On October 18th, we dedicated the Green Valley Trail Link. This short trail greatly enhances the safety and access of the Green Valley Forest Preserve for Naperville residents. While the scope of the project was modest, the intergovernmental synergy required to get it done was notable. The Forest Preserve District of the County of DuPage, the City of Naperville, the Lisle Township Highway Department, and the Naperville Park District worked together in unprecedented fashion, focusing on what would be best for our residents. Governmental bodies should come together like this for the benefit of citizens more often. On October 22nd, we rededicated Seeger Park, including its new interpretive center. It was a beautiful day to showcase this wonderful park, and I'd recommend that all our residents take a ride over to this jewel on Plank Road. Special thanks to Cliff Preston, who was kind enough to share some of his remembrances of Seeger Park, which spanned 5 decades. And on November 2nd, 5 commissioners had the opportunity to witness the final interview of our Park District staff as they completed the CAPRA process at the National Recreation and Parks Association Annual Congress. I'll leave it to our Executive Director to provide more details on this achievement. I'll simply say that the residents of Naperville will definitely benefit from this endeavor, and that the Board of Commissioners is very proud of Executive Director McGurry and his entire staff. Thank you. And now we'd like to hear from Executive Director McGurry.
Thank you, President O'Reilly. And just to follow up on the CAPRA accreditation process, it was a very rewarding experience last week in Atlanta, and certainly at the hearing to answer the questions of many of these top-notch experts from around the country before we were bestowed the honor of being a nationally accredited park agency. And again, to note, we're the second agency, only the second in the state of Illinois, and we're the 104th in the United States, and I believe there's over 10,000 park districts across the U.S. This is really a testimony to the staff here at the Naperville Park District. As I've said a few times from this dais, and I've said before in other meetings, when I came up with this idea, and it was actually just not my idea, last year, staff had that glazed over look in their eyes, and they should. Because having been through this before, as I told you the horror stories that I went through on the other side, what I used to do for a living, this is not an easy process. This challenges you in many different ways. It's one thing to say that you do something, it's another thing to prove it. And yet, through the efforts of staff, and, particularly Sue Omenson, who's in the crowd tonight, Aileen McEldowney, who both of them spearheaded this, Jackie Stern at the end here, without their help, and certainly without staff's contributions, I don't think that we would have been able to be as successful as we were. And what's interesting in talking with a few of the committee members, commission members, very rarely do they have anybody come in and get 144 out of 144 standards. This doesn't happen, especially your first time around. And so to be able to nail this the first time out is a testimony to the people that work in this park district, from the people that are mowing the lawns to the people sitting here this evening. It's not me, it's them. And so I'm very proud of them. You will start to see a little bit of this CAPRA accreditation popping up in the community. We are going to be ordering some decals for our trucks and our cars. We're going to be ordering some decals for our doors. We have the pins. We will probably change our stationery sometime in 2013. We're going to hold off until we go through yet another accreditation process, re-accreditation process for the distinguished agency next year, and then we'll just do it in one fell swoop rather than spend the money now and then have to change it again. See, Sue just fainted again. She's coming back too now, but I couldn't be happier and more proud, and I've been in public service now over 30 years. It's the finest group of individuals I've ever worked with. I'm very fortunate to have them, so thank you. Just a couple other things. The winter 2012 program guide is going to be delivered November 17th. This includes registration info for the Naperville Youth Soccer, which is hugely popular here in Naperville for the upcoming spring 2012 season. We're also embarking on a brand new website redesign. You can watch our current website for an opportunity to take a survey and give your input on the features we should consider for the new website. And we're going to be reaching out more and more to the community because we want this to be as user-friendly as possible, because that's who we serve. So you'll be hearing a lot more about this. And then finally, mark your calendars for the 2012 State of the Park District Address planned for Saturday, February 11th, 2012, beginning at 8 a.m. with breakfast, and the presentation promptly begins with President Riley's address at 8:30. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item we have is approval of the treasurer's report.
President Riley, move to approve the September 2011 Treasurers Report.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Jackie, call the roll, please.
Vice President Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Todd,
Yes.
Commissioner Egan,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidi,
Yes.
Commissioner Danner,
Yes.
Commissioner Ori, absent, President Riley.
Yes. Next item that we have is the consent agenda. Are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda?
President Riley, I move to accept the consent agenda items as presented.
Is there a
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Jackie, call the roll, please.
Vice President Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Todd,
Yes.
Commissioner Egan,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidi,
Yes.
Commissioner Danner,
Yes.
Commissioner Ori, absent, President Riley.
Yes.
President Riley, I move to approve the consent agenda as accepted.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? This will have a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. We have nothing under unfinished business or under new business. Future meetings, a special meeting of the Board of Park Commissioners, November 17th, 2011. That will start at 5 p.m., and that'll be in the Administration Building. Next regular meeting is December 8th, 2011, at 7 p.m., and that will be at the Administration Building? No, that's here. And then the next special meeting of the Board of Commissioners is December 19th at 6 p.m. in the Administration Building.
President Riley, move to adjourn the November 10th, 2011 regular meeting.
Do we have a second?
We do not.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Jackie, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Egan, did you second?
I sure forget.
Vice President Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Egan,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidi,
Yes.
Commissioner Danner,
Yes.
Commissioner Ori, absent, Commissioner Todd,
Yes.
President Riley.
Yes. Thank you all. We're adjourned.